This weekend that just passed, you got on stage
for the fifth time.
And walked away with your pro status in the WBFF.
It just doesn't come easy. You just have to keep really working at it. And like WBFF Pro status is freaking amazing. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's awesome.
We're Dr. Mollie WBFF Pro. Like, what? How many titles can one have?
And the only limitations on my journey are the ones that I put on it.
After having stepped on stage twice, already accomplished it, how did you get up and say, you know what, I want more?
What if I'm all in and I show up every day for myself? What can I do then?
Like when something in that world translates into real life, right? That's where the magic really is.
Or you win the sash or you win your pro card, but it's really about winning you, winning who you are and who you want to be. There's so much, and I'm so chatty. I talk a lot. Okay, I go, you know what? Let's go do this. Doesn't matter what it is.
It's a superpower.
Welcome to episode 1 of our new show. She is Lais, and I am the coach, and that is the name of our show.
First of all, if there's ever been a time for personal bubble, this is it.
We will always stay true to what we do.
What you're doing is going to get you to the next place.
Right.
Throw the list away. It's only a matter of time before you cave.
You can look way better than you used to.
Such a great experience.
Well, like it knows everything you've given. Doesn't have any.
Shown curiosity. What if it actually works?
I've been chopped down como persona.
100%.
An extra vitamin C
right now. Sometimes it is a member.
Welcome, everybody. Peace out, everybody. And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to Lais and the Coach. We are back today with a returning guest and new WBFF Figure Pro, Miss Mollie. Mollie, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Lais. I'm excited to be here for a minute.
Really quick, do you want to mess with your Wi-Fi really quick? Because you're like freezing and going in and out.
Eating? Okay, hold on. Let me find the spot that's a little
I know
more.
we're already live, but we got to make this the right way.
All right, let's travel. I'm gonna go right next to the box.
There you go.
That's how it is.
We're live, baby.
Okay, so let's see. How about now? Better?
You're better.
Better. Okay. Nice little empty spot. Okay.
Good.
Right.
So, Mollie, last time you were on the show, you had just finished doing the show, right? Was it your second show?
Which one?
Last year. Well, Atlantic City.
This time last year, you're my second show.
Okay, great.
That's so cool.
And since then, you've competed 3 more times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this
Learning.
I'm learning. And this weekend that just passed, you got on stage
For the fifth time.
and walked away with your pro status in the WBFF.
Yeah.
How are you feeling 3 days later?
I think I'm still really overwhelmed by the privilege and the honor of being named a WBFF Pro. I mean, it means a lot, with the understanding that it just doesn't come easy and that, you just have to keep really working at it and not even expecting it. I'm still really overwhelmed. It's really amazing when your own personal accomplishments or your own personal struggles are seen through the eyes of other people and they acknowledge the fact that you have been working to improve, that you have really been taking the time, and really sacrificing and dedicating the time to do something that, really benefits me. But it's just an honor to have that be recognized, right? Like, I mean, it's amazing just to see my body transform, not just my body, but my mind, my confidence, my attitude towards things, my ability to just really integrate the principles that I learned from training and eating and the discipline and just being able to apply that to everyday life has been amazing. So just to be able to take away all those things and like WBFF Pro status is freaking amazing. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's awesome. And honestly, like all of those things that you just said are really what I want to talk about today.
Yeah.
Because I think that so many of those are lost. Last time you were on the show, you had just finished prepping during what was like an impossible year almost. You know, we were on the tail end of COVID. Oops, I don't know if you're supposed to say that.
Can you say that?
Do
You
we
get
get-
banned.
do we get banned on the YouTube?
You're a physician,
Anyway.
so you're really in there, you know?
But you had
You're
persevered.
Dr. Mollie WBFF Pro. Like, what? How many titles can one have?
Right? It's crazy.
You had just finished prepping for that show inside of a really hard year in terms of work and schedule, and honestly, like just so many other things. I'm sure, well, I know that your schedule hasn't changed, but the changes that come along with wanting to get better are not doing the same old. So you have had to train harder and be more disciplined and focused with your eating. How did you manage that after having stepped on stage twice, already accomplished it? How did you get up and say, you know what, I want more?
I think the drive really is seeing the changes that happen every time I prep or prepare to get on stage. It made me want more. It made me feel like, okay, if I can do this, if I can invest 85% instead of 80%, let's see what we can do. And okay, well, if that's what 85% looks like, let's go for 95%. And if that's what 95% looks like, what if I'm all in? What if I buy into it and I do it to the best of my ability and I show up every day for myself? What can I do then? And I think that again, that translates to everyday life. Same thing. Okay, I know that I have to go to work. I know that I can't show up and just like half do what I'm supposed to do. I got to give it everything that I got while I'm there. Right. And then figure if I can do that at work, then why can't I do what I need to do for my own wellness, right? For my own health. And so I now start to look at everything the same way. If I'm showing up, right? And I don't always feel like showing up, and that's what's hard. But I think, I'm not sure if you posted, if I read somewhere that I just show up and I go to the gym. Even if I don't feel like going, I'm like, I don't have it in me today. I don't have it. And I'm sitting there saying this. And I go to the gym and I sit there and I look and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this first set. That's all. And that's it. And then I'm gonna go. And I do the first set. And I'm like, you know what? I think I got another set in me. Let's do the second set. And before I know it, the workout is over, right? Like it's a pod. I'm like, I'm gonna do this first pod. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna get this first pod, And I just keep doing that. And then when I realize, you know what? All I gotta do is show up. The rest will take care of itself. I'm not like, I don't think I hit it hard every time. But then that feeling at the end, like, you know what? You could have given it more, is the thing that makes me show up the next time and work harder and push myself. And I realize the only thing that limits me is me. And so that's been my focus since June, since April's show, where I wasn't happy with what I showed up with or what I put into it. And I said, this is me. This is in your head. You have to do what you need to do. And that's what I decided to do each and every time. And I apply that to every part of my life now. It's like, I got to show up, right? Show up and see what happens, right? If you got it, you got it. If you don't, then we'll try again another day. But, that's just been it. It's just been every day. Take one day at a time, take one set at a time, and just keep moving.
I love all of that.
I mean, honestly,
so much to say.
We did the mic drop right there, right?
Yes!
Like, honestly, like one of the things always on our side is listening to the opposite of all of that and how hard it is for anybody just to get to the gym, let alone, get to that first set, right? Like, that's such a great way to go about it. Like, let me just go and do one set and I'll leave. At least I did the one, but then it's like, you do the one and it's like, you know what, I got to, and then before you know it, the workout is done, right? But it's so hard for people to get to that first set. And nothing's changed for you. You're still a parent, you're still a caregiver, you still work long hours, you know, and you still find time, you know, and before I ask a question, and then you got.
No, I was gonna say that. Like, if you guys didn't catch the last episode, like Mollie is a doctor in the ER. Mollie takes care of her mom. Mollie's a single mom, right? Mollie is not 21 years old, like we were saying earlier with Tiffany. Like, she's busy, and she works in two completely different hospitals, like one all the way upstate and one, you know, in Brooklyn, right? And so it's like Brooklyn, Buffalo. So she's super busy and she takes care of a lot of other people, but the way that you've decided to show up and how much you've transformed inside and out is so massive and inspires me so much. And the other thing is, she's so cute. The other thing is what you said, which is so important. Like, everyone knows how much I love competing and how much I love that people compete and how much I love the stage and the glitz and the glam and the prettiness and all of that stuff. But when something in that world translates into real life, right? That's where the magic really is, right? So to say that I show up for this, and then because of that, I can show up in other areas of my life, that's really what matters. Because yes, competitions are awesome and we have a great time. And without that goal, a lot of this transformative inside and outside stuff just doesn't happen. But the fact that it spills over into your career, into your parenting, into you as a friend, as a wife, as a mom, as everything, like, that's really what it's all about. And for you to be able to carry that, because a lot of times if people aren't present and they don't pay attention, you can't, right? You get blocked into just the competition stuff. But when you're that busy and you make it happen and you're that present and you allow it to spill over into other areas of your life, like, that's really where the magic happens.
100%. What do you think is the driver there that may be a little bit different? Is it the goal? Is it like the fact that you know that the outcome that you're working for is that stage goal?
You mean like the driver to show up for the for shift? Oh, wow. I think it's a little bit of both. Like I said, I think when I first started, and I laugh, like when we were just doing like nutrition training, I was like, yeah, okay, coach won't know if I had this extra cookie. You know,
It knows everything.
Right. Okay. But, you know, I was like, whatever, you know, okay, it's an extra slice of bacon. I know he said 3 is 4. It's not going to make a big difference. And then, like, when I hit the stage on that very first, matter of fact, and then I said, like, 6 weeks out, I was like, when I got my bikini, I was like, oh my God, I got to get on stage in a bikini and this is what I look like. I was like, oh no. So those last 6 weeks, I really stuck to exactly what you said, 100%. And I saw that initial transformation in 6 weeks. And I was like, shoot, if you can do that in 6 weeks, that means you played games all this time and you could have done better. So when I got on stage, I was like, okay, we're not going to get on stage looking like this ever again. And that kind of gave me the drive. So like at first, it was all about like losing a little bit of weight, feeling a little bit better. Cause like, I mean, like I had, I still have, but I had like really bad fibroids. And so I would lose a lot of blood every month and I was anemic and then I needed like iron transfusions and I was overweight on top of that. So I couldn't even climb a flight of stairs without being like extremely short of breath. My kid would want to play and I'm like, you know, I walk up the stairs once and I need to sit down and I'm like, okay, you're 40 years old, right? Like 40, 41, 42. This is not, that's not what should be happening, you know? And I had to figure, you know, my doctor was like, well, if you lose the weight, your, you know, the amount of hormones will go down. Hopefully the fibroids will shrink. You know, we talked about surgery and doing all these other things. And I was like, you know what? I just gotta do better. But just like hearing that and just trying to do the nutrition training, it didn't work.
Hi.
So I was like, the nutrition part of it just isn't working. 1 second, Bobby. 1 second. So I was like, you know, okay. Coach was like, I think you should do a show. And I was like, no, you got to be kidding me.
Well, interestingly enough, we met at a show and
yes.
You came on board just to do nutrition. And at the time you were racing and you were running and you were doing all these things. And, you know, we were talking and I'm like, how's Mollie doing? Because you and I had met, right? And he's like, you know, she does as much as she can do, but she's not really like fully on her game. And I'm like, we should get her to like set a big goal, whether that's a race or the stage. And you need that goal. Like you just need a freaking massive goal. Otherwise it becomes negotiable and
yes,
it has to be non-negotiable.
That's absolutely the truth. Cause it was like once once I hit the stage once and was like, we're doing this again, I was like, no, we gotta go all in. We cannot show up like that again. And I think, like just being a former athlete, having that competitive nature, it was like, yeah, we gotta get better. And then every time I go, it's like, I've got to get better. I've got to get stronger. And, and even like, when I get a set and he's like 110 pounds, I was like, what? I can't do that. It's like, you can do that. Go do it. And then I shock myself. And then I'm like, okay, let's go heavier and heavier and heavier. And now it's like, it's just a thing, right? Like, I want to bring out the best version of me. And I don't even know what that looks like, but we're going to keep working towards it till we get to it, right? Till I get to the point where it can't get better, but I don't even think that's even possible. So, we'll just be on this train for a while.
And if I showed you this version of you in 2019 in the Bahamas, you wouldn't have believed it. Nothing about it. Not the health, not the physique, not the internal stuff, not the amount of photo shoots and stage things you've done. I mean, it's so crazy. It's
insane. It is insane. Like when I often look, I like it when you guys collage, because when I see like, I would say like all of my friends, everybody that knows, when they see those pictures, they're like, they almost can't even believe it. But I honestly can't believe how big of a difference, not just in how I look, but how I feel. It's
and who you are, who you've become.
It's insane. It's insane. Like, I mean, I never stepped on stage thinking like I was going to be a pro. Like, I just never saw it. As we kind of moved along, I'd be like, oh, being pro would be great. And then like, now I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a whole nother level. We got to step our game up, because it's not just like the pro status about like the body, but it's just like inspiring people. Like every day somebody says to me, oh my God, how did you do that? Or, you lost a lot of weight. What did you do? Oh, you must not eat. And I'm like, I eat Oreos.
This is like the recurring theme with every podcast.
I love the Oreos. I love like, I mean, and people can't believe it. And I said, when you take away those things, like they're absolutely gone, then that's where the problem comes in. Then you get one or two and you binge, right? I said, coach works his formula. I listen to what coach says. And I'm like, if he says I can have cookies, then I can have cookies. So don't be jealous. Eat, But yeah, it's crazy, that like I look at so many of the WBFF Pro Divas, and even like just the athletes in general, and I'm like, oh my God, their physique is so amazing, and oh my goodness, look at the work and like how I admire them. It's crazy because there's people out there that admire me the same way, like that stop me in the mall and like, hey, where do you work out? I was like, I don't know if you want to fool with coach. I said, but here's his number. I was like, here's his IG, find him. I was like, because that's what makes the magic happen. He makes the magic happen. So, I mean,
and now you're one of those people. Like now you're one of the pros that you look at. Yes.
It's not,
but one of the things there is like, this has been a ride, right? Like this didn't happen over just 6 weeks. We've been at this
for 2019,
since for years, right? And every time you get off stage, we always talk about the same thing. It's like, all right, Mollie, this is your new day one, right? And then we move from there. And then we do another show. It's like, all right, this is your new day one. And you've continued to improve and show up. How have you continued, like with your schedule, right? With the amount of work that you have to do you figure out schedule-wise when you're going to train and eat? Or do you wait and see how the day plays out or what the week looks like?
No, so I tried that at first. That's a setup for failure. For me, it's a big setup for failure. Like, cause my schedule varies every single week. Like I don't work a 9 to 5, and some days it goes long. Like, thank God for my mom, because like even today, we ended up with a really sick patient. I'm supposed to get off work at 3:00. Really sick patient, decompensated, and like at 4:30, I'm still at work. We're working on this one patient. So like, I'm just grateful to have her. Like, she picks up my daughter and stuff like that, and helps to do homework. But even inside of that, like I have to be like, hey, mom. So on Monday I get up at 3. can you pick her up so I can go to the gym and get like this hour in, and then I'll pick her up after, or I'll pick her up, drop off at your house, or, you know, I have to decide, like, meals have to be made. Like it's funny because I'll literally put 3 meals in the same bowl, because it's like, listen, this is what's going to work and that's it. And then I'll put my protein bar in, and I know like I'll try to map it out in my head. Like, am I going to be able to get the eggs? They laugh at me because there's a toaster in my office now. That's where I toast my bread, and there's a loaf of bread. Because, like, you know, I'm like, at least I know the bread is constant every time, right? But it's like, I know I can go upstairs and get 2 boiled eggs, and that's simple. Or if I'm gonna, like, oh, okay, I can have oatmeal today. So then, like, the night before though, I'll put the protein in the bag. I'll get the 20 grams or whatever. But I never wait. Like it's almost like a setup for failure, because then it's the temptation to just grab something that's not on my plan or whatever, you know, that's there. Like, I'll fall off. I don't want to, like, I think you also talked about, like, if you say 4 ounces, it's 4 ounces and not 3.5, it's not 4.5, it's 4. And so, like, now I got to scale at work, because, like, okay, if I go across the street to get chicken, I got to weigh the chicken. Mm-hmm. And now I'm more conscious of it than before. And I think I'm conscious of it because I know the impact that, you know, can have. Right. And how it has to be specific, not all the time, because I know you factor everything in, but, you know, for the times that I do fall off, I want to at least make that the anomaly and not the norm. So right. I try not to set myself up for failure by waiting until like the morning of, to be like, oh, I think I'm going to go ahead and prep. But I don't prep for the whole week, but I do at least try to do 1 or 2 days out to have it ready, you know, so that I'm not, you know, too far off.
And what are your workout times usually? Like, what time of the day? I know you left the show Sunday morning and you went to work Sunday night.
Yeah, it's whenever. It's whenever. So, like, I like the fact that coach is like, okay, so day 1 doesn't have to be this day or that day or whatever, because it depends on like whether I can get to the gym or if I'm doing something at home. It varies. There are some, like, if I have to be to work at 3, I'll work out before work. So I may go out like I drop my daughter off and then I'll come back at like 9 or 10 and work out. Sometimes I get up 11 o'clock at night and I'll go to the gym at midnight or 1. You know, it really depends. But like, since I can move things around, it's like, okay, if I have to go to the gym on this day, then like if I get out at a certain time, this is my cardio day, or this is when I'm going to go to the gym. But I try to map it out so that I know where I am and that my rest days will land on a day where I just absolutely can't make it to the gym. So I try to tweak it that way. It's not, you know, it's not easy, but it's a puzzle that works for me.
It sounds insane. Like, I have so much more. I know that, but it's like listening to it, I'm like, holy shit. Like, and people are annoyed at their 9 to 5, right, but they can't go work out at 5.
Do you think over time, like, again,
people, if I have to work out at 6 p.m., I'm like, why am I working out this late?
Over time, you know, 5 shows in, multiple photo shoots, like all this time, do you feel like it's gotten easier for you?
I think I'm more comfortable doing it because I've done it. Do I think it's easier? No, because I like, to be honest, I feel like even like now and I'm scared to say it, like as a pro, godly, that's like not, it's a whole nother level, right? I feel like now I have to level up my game, right? I have to, like, you know, I feel like it's not that I not necessarily do more, but I think I'm just more conscientious of the fact that, you know, I've got to continue to improve. And it's not so much, you know, stage wise, but I want to improve for me. I don't want to go backwards. I want to kind of continue to move forward. But I think there's a certain level of confidence. And I think we also have like an amazing supportive team. And like, you guys are so amazing. Like, you know, as far as like, when we show up, we don't have to worry about where we go and what we do and how to do it. It's already mapped out. And like, even though you did the show with us, you were still like on your game 100% about where we are, what we're doing, where we're meeting together. Let's go as a team. So I think even as a newbie, I never felt like I didn't have support or I was alone. So I think it becomes more fun. The angst is out of it now after having done it this many times, not like the show angst, but like just the showing up for the weekend part of it. It's less anxiety provoking.
Not unknown. You know what's going to happen and how it's going to go down.
Right.
Yeah.
And like guidance and support and help with that. So I think that makes it a little easier. I mean, I kind of have a gist of, when I always was like, well, modeling's like easy. Modeling is not easy.
Not. And I'll tell you, we
Respect.
left on Sunday morning and Bree's like trying to record, for YouTube. I'm like, get that fucking camera out of my face. Like, I don't know how people do this every fucking day of their life, but I can't handle it. So
Seriously.
as much as it's like so great to like feel pretty and do the shoots and do the stage and do the videos and do the pictures, like it's hard work. Like you need a couple of days off from it,
It absolutely is. It's insane. Like total newfound respect.
Did you notice, or have you noticed that you've had a bunch of different preps, or have they felt different for you?
Oh, they all felt different. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I know, like I was talking to my mother about this the other day. I said, what's nuts? I said, I remember like the first set of workouts where it seemed like it was like a lot of like mixed strength cardio kind of stuff, like push-ups, glute bridges, hip thrusts, single leg hip thrusts, lunges, curtsy lunges, and all those other things, right? And I was like, godly. I remember we were doing wall squats and it was like 20 seconds of wall squats. I'm like, I'm gonna die. I can't. 20 seconds is crazy. And then now, like I looked back one day and I was like, just do like 1 minute of wall squats. I'm like, that's and I didn't die. Like, so I can honestly see the progression in like my strength. I know like when I get on the treadmill to do like the interval trainings, whereas like, I think I was going at like, I had no incline and I was going at like 3.5. Now I'm up to like 7, 7.5, 11 with an incline. And I'm still like, I can go faster than that. And I keep turning it up. And it's like, it's just nuts because each time it's different. And I also feel different. I think the meals, I definitely feel like I've eaten a lot more this prep. Like, well, except for, I remember when we first started, and I was eating bagels with bacon, egg, and cheese. And I was like, this guy has got to be insane. I was like, bagels with bacon, egg.
Is that your request for bagels with?
Right. It was
Just like, and
I ate so much of it that I was just like sick of it and was like, I don't think I'm on another bagel with bacon, egg, and cheese ever again.
I'll take a New York bagel with bacon, egg, and cheese any day.
The next time I see you guys, like when I come back to Florida, I'm going to bring bagels.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, but it was strange. Like now more strength training. What I noticed this time too. And I was like, okay. Like when you brought it up about like my glutes growing and stuff like that, I was like, okay. So now I understood like most of what I did this time was like, it seems like a lot of posterior chain, like mostly back stuff, like back of arms, like triceps, and like hamstrings and glutes. Whereas I'd never really noticed that before. And I was like, okay, but this is cool. Cause like, even when I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh my God, I got a back, And so like, I'm kind of like noticing little things, but again, I don't pay it any attention. Cause I was like, okay, coach says do it. I'm just going to do it. But that, it's so different in what I do, how I do it, how much I do. Like I remember, so I hate gluten core, just so you know. I didn't say that.
You and I both.
I didn't say that out loud, but like, I remember like when I looked at the last set of gluten core and it was like 50 fire hydrants and donkey kicks. I was like, he's gotta be crazy. There's no way I can do this. And I did the first 50 and was like, I just did 50. Whereas I remember like, like maybe 3 preps ago doing 20, I thought I was going to die. Like doing 15 leg raises, I thought I was going to die. Like literally couldn't lift my legs anymore. And like, now I'm like doing 50, like, oh, he said 3 sets of this.
Well,
all right.
According to you, you couldn't even go up a flight of stairs. So
Seriously.
Say no more.
Right. Like I see the difference in the preps, both like the food as well as the training. But I think I noticed the most of it in the training simply because I think I eat chicken, rice and beef and rice and a vegetable all day, every day anyway. Like that's my thing now. So
yeah.
workout. workouts. But you know what's crazy? It doesn't bother me to eat the same thing. That doesn't bother me. I think where I start having variety is where I start losing control. Like, it's like, well, you know, that pork chop over there looks, you know, and I might do it once and then look at it like strange again. Like the next time, like, boy, that pork chop would be great. So I like to tend to stick to eating what I'm eating. I know what it is, it's certain, and yeah.
Did you go into this prep for AC a little different? Mentally, like your mindset different?
I was excited. So like I said, I was unhappy with my June show, but that was all me. And I went into Worlds like I had something to prove. Like I had something to prove to Mollie. Like, Mollie, we're gonna hit this. It was like, we got 8 weeks. It's 8. I was like, you got 8 weeks. You can do 8 weeks. And I was like, he said lift heavy. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna lift. I'm like, I'm picking up the heaviest thing. Like if I can barely pick it up off of the rack.
That's the one.
Right. I was like, that's what we're using. And I saw such a big difference in those 8 weeks from just lifting that way. And I was like, this isn't killing me, right? Like I can do it. And so when going forward to AC, I started out that way with like I told you at the end, I was like, I think I'm getting weaker. I was like, because I can't lift what I used to lift. I was like, it's just, it feels heavy. It was like, it really, because I had in my mind, I'm going all in. The heaviest thing I can lift, I mean, like they laugh at me in the gym because when I'm doing like my squats, I keep piling the weight on. I'm like, yep, no, that's not it. And I put more on. I'm like, yeah, no, that's it. And then when I could barely get up, I was like, oh, that's the one. And I'll start lifting. And the guys in the gym are like, what the hell is wrong with her? And it's not so much, it's just me wanting to push my limits, right? Me wanting to see how much I can improve in that period of time. And so that's what was different for me going into AC was like, I kind of have in my mind what I can do. You know, I don't yet know my limitations because I'm still pushing them. But I think from now on, I want to work as hard as possible. Like I told you, I like muscle. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. So I'm like, I'm good. At first, I know when I first started, and this is so sad, when I first started, I think I picked up a 15-pound dumbbell and I thought I was going to die trying to do like step ups with like 15-pound dumbbells. I was like, this isn't going to work. And I ended up like, I barely could walk because my knees hurt and I tweaked my back. And I was like, I'm not telling Coach that because he's like, take a break. I'm not taking a break. I'm just going to keep working. But I worked within the confines of that. And I was kind of shy weight wise for a while. And that's when you were like, go heavy. I was like, okay. And now I'm finding my body can handle it. So I'm just going to keep working. And that was
you said something there that is important about like not finding that limit. Do you think that more people shy away from even pushing to that place so that they never have to continue to push because they find that you can continue to progress and get stronger and stronger? Or do you think that it's just not something that people normally talk about, like pushing to that place where you're uncomfortable and saying, okay, this is rep 1?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it hurts, you know, and I think because it hurts, we figure it's not right. Like it's something wrong because it hurts. But I think it's a different kind of hurt. Like, you know, injury hurt feels a lot different from my muscle working hurt. And I kind of learned, I remember like when I first started running track and we were training, I would go out and every little stitch or burn or ache that I would feel, oh God, I gotta slow down, I gotta stop. And that I think, like, even though I had like a really good career, I could have probably been amazing had I understood that that pain means that my muscles are growing, that I'm getting stronger, right? That I'm building more muscle. And I understand that now in my adult life. So like, you know, I know the difference between this is an injury and this is just my muscle working. And I also realized that it's not until I'm close to like that failure point or where my muscle isn't going anymore, that's where I started working. So I don't want to give up. Like if I built all that nice tension and now if I can get at least 2 more sets and at least that's building the muscle, then that's where I got to go. It's a waste of my time to show up to the gym. Like my mother laughs. If I'm not sweating, if I don't feel like a baby deer, then I didn't do what I was supposed to do when I was there. And I know every day can't be like that, but I want to have those moments when I leave the gym feeling like, yeah, I did that. I did that. I left it there. Can somebody carry me? But I did that.
Love it.
How is this show that you just did overall like different for you compared to the other shows?
How's it? I'm sorry, coach.
How was it different? Like regardless of the outcome?
Oh my God. So I think I said this time I'm leaving it all out there. Like, you know, I had an understanding like from previous shows, you know, you're posing and the posing just doesn't come. You got to work at it, you know? And I said, every aspect of it, I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to bring what I can bring, but not bringing, excuse my language. I don't want to like half-ass it, right? Like I want to really do what needs to be done to show up. You know what I mean? And
That
really
hair flick was epic. It was epic. We saw that. We're like, what? Yes.
But like I said, I think like when I came down to Orlando to pose, it made a huge difference being right there with you and being able to see what it was I was supposed to be bringing. And it's different to have that real time. So it was like, you can always expect to now see me in between.
Can't wait.
Because I'm coming to visit.
Well, you know, we were talking about this earlier with a few people, like the more stage time you have, the more you're able to command the stage, right? Like, yes, we do sessions and yes, you practice a ton and all of that matters, but that was your 5th show. And there's something to be said about somebody that has stepped on stage 5 times, most of those times twice in a night, right? So technically speaking, you've gone out there like 10 times.
Right.
Yeah, like in a bikini. So it's like, that's putting in time, you know? And when you put in time and you do the thing, you do get better at it and you do get more confident in it. And then, yes, if you couple that with the fact that we did spend some time together in person and we really like went for a specific vibe and we did the hair to match it and the bikini, like all of it just really came together. But it doesn't really matter how much we plan or how much we practice. If you don't go out there and you don't do it that way, then it doesn't really matter. And you just rocked it.
I definitely felt better than like, I remember like last year in AC, I can remember my legs trembling. Like I was like, oh my God, they're looking at me. This time I was like, you know what? I don't care if they're looking at me. I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to give it everything I've got. And that was it, you know? But I was still like, oh my God, they're looking at me. But then I immediately stopped and was like, focus on what you're supposed to be doing and let's do it. Like, I was like, you know, let's get out here and do the thing.
So you felt good up there.
Yeah, I definitely felt a lot better. I didn't have the baby deer legs that I had like the last couple of shows. Even like on the world stage, I honestly thought I was gonna vomit. Like, I was like, oh my God, all these people out here and they're looking and I have on a bikini, you know, like that was crazy. That was insane.
But, you know, I didn't even think about this until now. You've been on stage a lot in comparison to other people. And on our team, you're like one of the veterans now, right? Because of the amount of shows you've done. What do you think some of the new people coming onto this journey should know? And even the people that have just done the one show that, you know, maybe now that you've done so many, is something that you're like, man, you know, if I would have been thinking about this show 1 or show 2, it would have made it, you know, a little bit easier for me, or at least calm the nerves down a little bit.
Wow. You know what, to be honest, nerve wise, I don't know. Cause I still like this time getting on stage, I was still almost like, I want to vomit. But what I will say is like stay in your own head, be happy with the package that you brought. Don't compare yourself to anybody else online, on stage, anybody else there, and just let you shine through. I mean, because I think a lot of times I was, you know, like throughout the whole thing, even like this week, I was like, I'm not ready. I was like, we'll be ready by Worlds next year. I was like, we'll be ready. That's when we'll be ready. And, you know, it wasn't about like going out, winning, placing, or anything. It was really just about having a good time and being happy with where I've come from and where I was. I mean, like, to be honest, I would tell people, don't compare yourself, because that's sometimes also when you're like, well, I don't know how my body measures up to this person. That also kind of takes away your confidence, because you feel like,
it steals your joy.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, just really going out. And I think the happiness I felt this time was the same happiness I felt at my first show. It was like, I'm just glad to be here, you know?
Yeah. And I remember you saying it before you got a pro card. Like, you didn't even know you were going to get one. And you were backstage and you're like, I just love it. The day before, you're like, I just love this. I'm just so happy. This is so awesome. And look at my femur. And I got the little, what's the thing called that you put your hands in? And you were just genuinely happy, you know? And I'm like, yes, like that's what it's all about. The comparison thing, the placing thing. Because then what happens is when you do place, when you do win, it's like, holy shit. And on top of it, I won. Not like I'm here to win and then I don't and I'm unhappy. You know, it's like you're there and you're happy. And so take us to the moment where you were on stage and they announced that you had won.
Okay, don't remember. Golly. That was insane, right? Like, cause I mean, you know, I had the same like feeling at Worlds and I was like, okay, great. I was like, I'm just happy to be here. This is amazing. Great. And, you know, I honestly did not expect the outcome. Like I said, I felt like I definitely brought the best version of me, but there was a lot of room for improvement. Like, you know, I always whine about my midsection. and that's why I have to find this love for gluten core. I gotta find the love and I gotta, like, you know, I'm like, I do it, but I don't do it like I do everything else. So anyway,
the truth comes out.
I get the reps done, but you know, but you know, and I was like, you know, I still have so much more room to improve. I was like, and you know, like I said, I wasn't even thinking pro card. I was like, oh my God, look, they like my muffler. I look so cute, right? And when they said, and welcome, I was like, oh, I got like sick a little bit because I was like, who are they talking about? Like, where, who, me? And it was so overwhelming because it was overwhelming just to, like I said, to see and to know that somebody has seen the work and the time that I've, and they rewarded that. Because like I said, for me, I don't know if I'll ever, you know, have the perfect body, but
no one does.
Working towards, you know what I mean? I'm going to keep working towards the body that I want to see, the body that's going to make me happy. And it was amazing. Like it was, I don't know. It was hard to like not cry. Cause you know, like, it's like, you think about like the 1 a.m. workouts, right? When everybody else is asleep and I'm in the gym, me and the people who are behind the desk at Planet Fitness, right? Or, you know, the mornings where I've just worked all night and I go straight to the gym and I'm like, I can't go to bed because then I'm not going to get this work in, you know, or, you know, it's just, it was a lot. Like, it was just amazing. I mean, like I said, like, I'm about to cry again. This is bad. Okay. But
it's not bad.
Really, it's astonishing. I mean, words really can't express how happy I was and really how amazed I was. You know, I mean, like I said, I've seen people who I was like, oh my God, they have great bodies and they win or they place and there's no pro card. And I'm like, how did they get a pro card? You know, and then just to kind of be a part of like that group of people, you know, it's amazing. And then like backstage, I immediately thought, oh my God, I got to step up my game.
Right
I was
away.
Like, fuck, now I gotta get to work.
And I was like, back to work.
I love it. We were all cheering for you in the back. We obviously wanted that outcome, but you never know. So you're never really expecting it. And when we saw it, you know, the little TV, and they're like, and Mollie, and we were like, oh, you know, because we were like, what? Like we knew it was coming. And when he said it, we were all like, it was hard not to cry. And I'm like, we have to keep it together because I got to go back out on stage and my makeup can't be messed up.
Right?
I was in the audience, it would have been over. Like I gotta go back on stage with my gown, hold it together, but we were all just like.
But I honestly, I'd love to hear that you're walking off stage after that and you're like, all right,
I got work to
we
do.
gotta get to work.
Yes, not like, all right, I did it.
Right.
You know.
And that's funny. I was like, all right, so back to work. It's like a whole new level, like different mindset now, because it's like, okay, all right, you kind of hit this level. And now, like, I'm like a newbie. I'm like way back at the bottom of the totem pole, like trying to fight my way into what I can only imagine is going to be like this whole like sea of big, brolic, well-toned women.
Yeah.
You're gonna kill it, Mollie. You are going to kill it.
I'm just like, you know what? I got to be more disciplined. I've got to, you know, put in more work, which is fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause that's what I need. If it's what I want, then that's what we're going to do. And so, you know, again, like I said, I only could have dreamed of that outcome. It was so far away from my mind. You know, I was just like, okay, well, we're going to back to the drawing board. I'm like, coach, we're going to get to prepping for Worlds. Try Worlds, coach. You know, and that's what I thought. And like, this is crazy. So now there's like before Worlds, and then, you know.
And then Worlds.
Right. I'm like,
You know, one of the, you know, being confident on stage is not easy, right? Like she said, like, you've got to be on stage a lot. But even people that are on stage a lot sometimes never get there. But your posing now on stage is, you know, so far ahead and by far some of the best.
Yes.
Do you think that it's a combination of how you feel getting on stage, knowing how much you put into it?
Yeah, it's definitely a combination. So it's of course the mechanics, but what I love, like when Lais teaches like posing coaching, she's like, what feels comfortable for you? And she's like, you know, channel this part of you or channel that. And so like in my head, and I think this is what I think I love the most about like WBFF versus like having like standard poses and you're all up there kind of posing. You can bring your personality, which is cool. And so like, you know, I was feeling a little sassy and I was like, let's do this, you know? And like, you know, little parts of it that made them, and she was like, it's more like modeling. So it's not you trying to just really show the muscle. It's one, your confidence, two, it's you, and it's, you know, bring your personality. And so I was like, well, you know, if we're doing like this diva hairdo, let's bring the diva, right? And so I think that's what's cool. So it's like a little bit of, and I mean, you know, like, again, this is like 5th show. I looked at a video from like my first, like where you were teaching me how to walk. Oh my God. That's all I'm going to say. I was like, do you see like, you see Ken's leg? This is Ken here. But wait, hold on, Bobby. Do you, but like, you know, I was like, oh, that was terrible.
You gotta collage that next to your stage video.
You know, but I was like, but like, we all have to start somewhere. And I wanted, you know, it, like you said, it doesn't make sense to have like a great physique and then just look crazy on stage posing. And so I wanted to work at that. And I keep working, like, you know, like sometimes my mom laughs because like I'm there like crying, like I look a mess, mama. I was like, I look a mess. It's not coming together. I don't like it. And so my daughter goes, okay, well, hold on, let me show you how to do it. Right. And she does like her hair flick and all this other stuff. I was like, okay, well, let me try this hair flick here. You know? But you know, it's like, it's a total team effort, but I think it's really the confidence and then sort of bringing your own like pizzazz to it, I think is what allows, you know, for the better posing. Because like, you know, I used to be like, well, how does it feel? And if it doesn't feel good, then she finds something different. Because, you know, it's right. If I'm thinking, okay, I gotta put my foot here, my arm here, my leg here, and it feels awkward, then I can't make it sassy or sexy, right? Like I'm just robotically doing it so I don't, you know, so I don't miss the pose. But I think that's what I love about WBFF that I think is different than anything else I've seen, is just that ability to bring you, you know, and your uniqueness into your posing, which I love. And it's fun. I think, you know, every single like, and believe me, like the first couple of times I was nervous as heck. But this time, again, like I said, I think I didn't put any pressure on myself. It was like, we're just going to go out here. We're going to have a great time.
And that's always how somebody ends up with the outcome. They do all the work and they go into it just to enjoy it. And then next thing you know, the outcome happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I think, you know, having the confidence and just really being able to bring your personality along is what makes the posing a little bit easier. I think maybe a little more fluid.
Yeah.
That's so cool, Mollie. Like it's so amazing to have been a part of all of this, like every phase of this, and to know that this is a whole new day one now.
You're just
Like,
getting started, Mollie.
Literally just venturing off into a whole new league. You know, it's literally like, you know, you're a college, you know, basketball player, and you just got, you know, into the pros, and you know that next time you step on the court, you know, all the people you watch on TV are the ones that you're going to be playing against.
Okay, that's nuts.
that is where we're at right now. So it's unbelievable to have watched all of it, and you know, Life and I are so excited to watch this next part unfold, because it's going to be even cooler to see all you bring. And you know, like you said, like how many people you've inspired along the way, because I'm
listening to this and I'm like, I need to step up my game. Like she's working out after a night of work, like let me work out at 1 a.m. Like what the fuck? I would never do that. That's amazing. You know, like you're so right. Like it's just what has to get done.
And I think what happens is hopefully what happens is that when people hear this or they watch it and they continue, and here's the thing, they can continue to watch you do it. Because it's not just that, you know, we chat with you and that's it. It's like, no, everyone can continue to watch all you've done and all you're going to do. And then they at some point have to be like, damn, like, you know, I'm just not giving it my all. And that's really one of the biggest separators, that most people just don't go all in on anything, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, not just working out, just anything.
And even though you guys started working together in 2019, she really didn't do a show till 2021. Right. So it's just literally been like 2 years, you know, or a year and a half, really, because you did it like, was June her first one? June 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was June 2021. So it's been a year and a half that you've been actively prepping, and you've done 5 shows and I don't know how many photo shoots, and, you know, stepped on stage multiple times inside of those shows and just continuously evolved and gotten better and always showed up and did more and did better. And it's like, that's a very short period of time. Like a year and a half is nothing.
Right. Forget
the pro card, which is a massive, you know, accomplishment and is amazing. I'm talking about you as an individual, like what that's done to your health, to your physique, to your mental, you know, sanity, how much you impacted your daughter, how much it's spilled over into your life. Like a year and a half is nothing. Like we are not talking about 10 years. You've done 10 years, 10 years worth of work, or more work than someone would do in a lifetime in just a year and a half without sacrificing anything and without necessarily being like just at home twiddling your thumbs, and you decided to go on this venture, like busy, you know, important things. And it's like, that's amazing, you know, because it is like what you said, you just get it done because it's a priority.
Yeah, I think you honestly, you have to figure out, I mean, like, I don't think I sacrifice anything except for maybe a few hours of sitting on the couch, you know.
Or maybe a few hours of sleep, or maybe some time with your daughter. I sometimes feel like I'm sacrificing time with my son. It's more, I meant sacrifice if you didn't go hungry or do hours of cardio or take Tupperware to a party or, you know, tilapia and asparagus. I guess that's a sacrifice. I think when I think of sacrifice, I think of food because I love to eat.
Grandma's. But yeah, no, it's like, and that is what's crazy. Like people are like, you eat regular food? I'm like, yeah.
Like a normal
I'm
person.
human too.
Right? They're like,
No.
you can.
You don't
I was
work out 4 hours a day like people think and cut out all the things and live for this. And I guess that's what I mean when I say sacrifice. There's always a certain level of sacrifice, which he always says really well. Like, is it really a sacrifice if you're exchanging it for something else that you want, right? A sacrifice is like you got to sacrifice something like that you don't want to,
Right.
right? And you're not getting anything in return. This is an exchange. This is like if you buy something, right? It's like, are you losing money or are you exchanging it for the thing you want, right? So it's kind of like the same thing, yeah.
Oh, well, you know, and in all honesty, that is really true. Because I feel like, you know, I've kind of, I have exchanged my very unhealthy lifestyle. And like, it's funny because I was like, Francesca and I were talking and we've been eating these, you know, those first form bars that
Peanut butter ones.
Oh my God. No, so I like the chocolate peanut butter pretzel.
Oh.
Yes, the pretzel's my favorite.
Okay. And I've had the salted caramel, but I think of all the ones that I've had, I like the chocolate peanut butter pretzel, but it really tastes just like a candy bar. Like, I mean, just like a candy bar. So like, I don't feel the need to like, I don't remember the last time I had like a Snickers, but like, I feel like it's fine. Like Quest chips are like Doritos now. Because now it's just the crunch and the salt that I feel like I kind of need sometimes. But yeah. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything, you know, and I feel, you know, I've sort of given up like that kind of stuff in exchange for muscles, you know, and some leanness.
And health and well-being and fitting in your clothes. And it's not really a sacrifice when there's something on the other side, you know, that feels good.
I'm so excited about like the way my clothes fit now. It's
So
I clean my whole closet, but yeah.
You know, normally, and I asked you this on our last episode, I always ask, like, what would you say to that person on the other side that's on the fence? But after doing all these shows, earning your pro status, you know, what does this version of Mollie say to that competitor that has just finished their first show and they're like, I don't know if I want to continue because I didn't win or it didn't go my way. And they're overthinking things that, you know, at this point, we all know aren't the reasons that you should be doing this.
So I would honestly say, if you showed up to show day with the best version of yourself, you won, right? If you won your prep by showing enough discipline to eat what you were supposed to eat, drink your water, show up for workouts, do what you're supposed to do, you won. And like you said, I don't think that you can measure your winning based on what the judges decided on, right? They were looking for a specific thing, right? They, you know, they knew what they were looking for, but you had to come. Like, I feel like if you showed up, you did the best you could do, you enjoyed that weekend, if you enjoyed your time on stage, if you brought 100% of you and you left it all there, you won.
Totally.
Up for yourself first, right? Keep showing up for the people that you are inspiring that you don't even know you are inspiring. Keep showing up and changing, transforming, becoming who you really are, right? That person that's deep inside, that little seed that keeps needing the nurturing, the watering, you know, the cultivating. Keep turning into that person. It's not about whether you win the crown or you win the sash or you win your pro card, but it's really about winning you, winning who you are and who you want to be. I mean, I think, you know, the win is amazing when it happens, if it happens, but as long as you win for you, that's all that really matters. And I mean, you know, just keep showing up. I mean, people see you, even when you don't think you're being seen. And I feel like I'm like spotlight on that because like I said, I just do what I do, but people see it. It's shocking, but they see it. And so just keep doing what you're doing and you've won. You've already won. So just keep showing up.
I love that. I always ask, my last question is always, what is the most impactful thing, or what has been the most impactful thing about this journey for you? And I know that I asked that 4 shows ago or whatever. And I know that it's changed because I know that the answer someone gives after show 1 or even after show 2 is very different than the answer that they'll give after show 5 or 6 or 7, just because you evolve, right? And the journey continuously changes. And so I don't remember what your answer was, but what would you say has been the most impactful thing about this entire journey from start till now for you specifically?
Oh my God. I don't know. There's so much, and I'm so chatty. I talk a lot. Okay.
We love you.
I love you guys too. Oh my God.
Your leg.
Enjoy. I think God, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I would have to say, I think being a part of this ridiculously amazing, supportive team has been huge.
Mommy, I want to tell you something.
I know, I'm almost finished. She's over here beating Ken up. She ripped Ken's leg off. I think, God, it's hard. I think understanding that the only limits and the only limitations on my journey are the ones that I put on it. It's only the only things that are impossible are the things that I think are impossible. The only things that I can't do are the things that I think I can't do. And I mean, it's been crazy being able to just keep pushing like that. I'll say I can't do it. And all right, let's do it. I think that has been probably the biggest thing for me is just
tapping into it.
Yeah. Finding that space in my head. And I think knowing that it's there now is crazy, right? Just knowing that space is there where I go, you know what? Let's go do this. Doesn't matter what it is.
It's a superpower.
It's nuts. I'll get 4 hours of sleep and I'm up. Hey, good morning. How are you guys doing? Because I realize the only way I'm quote unquote, unless I'm fatigued, right? Your body can definitely be fatigued, but sometimes it's just I'm tired only because in my head I'm tired, right?
Right.
But if I go ahead and say, let me get up and do what I need to do. Yes, I want to sit on the couch, but I need to go prep my meals, or I don't really want to go to the gym when I get off, but I'm going to go to the gym, right? It's just finding that space in my head to take away the limits and understanding that the only person who can limit me is me, right? I'm the only person. And I'm not being realistic. I'm not talking about when your body is fatigued or when you're beat up or when you just don't feel good. But I'm talking about, that lazy spot where you're just
we all have it.
Do this workout today and then the next day and then the next day. But I think, just really having support and like you said, immersing yourself. Sometimes when I'm just not feeling doing anything sexy, not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I go on Instagram and I'm like, oh God, they're in the gym again. They're hitting that hard. I'm going to the gym. I was going to try to sit this one out or wait till later, but I'm going.
Not today.
No, for real. I know, right? Shh, don't tell coach. But I think, just having such a supportive team and having you both, has probably had the biggest impact. Having the support system of my mom and my daughter and just people just constantly pushing me, even when I feel like I can't do it, just having that support system has been immense. And it's been hugely impactful in me doing what I'm doing now and just having so many people surround me. It's amazing. I don't know, there's so much, there's a lot, and I will stop talking because I said, I'm chatty and I'll be here all day. And then you guys just you listen. So that's the problem.
We love it.
That's what this is. It's a nice long chat.
But you know why, Mollie? Because a lot of times it may seem from our side where this is what we do, right? I feel like sometimes it comes across like we're just saying the things that we say because we say the same things to everybody.
Yeah.
And when we talked about like talking to you guys after your show, it was really so that other people could hear it from the people that were doing
From another
it,
voice.
not from the coach's perspective. Because I could sit here all day and be like, yeah, you should do this and you should do that. But it doesn't always translate that people are actually doing it. So when it comes from you and you are telling the story in your voice of how it's going, I feel like that has more impact than when we say it.
Totally.
So chat away.
I love it. I would say, okay, trust the formula.
And I love what you said about like just tapping into that, like, well, if I think I can't do it, and then I go and I do it, right? Because there's people underestimate how important it is, the relationship that they have with themselves. And like, you have to build a reputation with yourself. And when you show up, you are constantly building that reputation the same way that when you don't, you're not, right? And then you feel bad about it, or you have negative thoughts or negative self-image or negative self-thoughts. And it's like, when you do the thing that you think you can't do, or when you're tired and you do it anyway, and when you don't think you can go heavier, or you don't think you can finish the workout and you do it, and when you leave work and you do it, and when you arrange for your daughter, every step you take in the direction of what you set out to do, like you always say, is a vote for the person that you want to become, right? And it's building that reputation with yourself. That is really magical because that is where the transformation happens, like the internal transformation. So I agree with you. It's super impactful to have the support. I too love the team, obviously. And when you have family support and to have our kids watch, like my son, this last show was so proud, and he kept hugging me and kissing me and telling me he wanted to watch. And all of those things feel amazing, but it really is like a superpower, like I was saying earlier, to like tap into that side of you, because then you get to that moment where you're on stage, right? That you got the outcome that you wanted, or even backstage when you feel really good about what you did. And only you know everything that you had to do to get there. Only you know the late nights and the tired days and the toast in the office. And, the mom picked up my daughter. Like, you can talk about it all day, but only you are with you 24/7. And only you know everything that it took to get to that moment. And that's what builds the version of you that is confident, that is happy, that is fulfilled, that can show up in your life as a mom, as a professional, as a daughter, as a wife, like in the ways that you're able to because you did those things. So I love that answer, because to me, that is always what's most impactful. How much showing up for yourself in whatever way you want to describe it impacts your life, who you are, and how you're able to maneuver through other areas of your life.
Right. Totally.
What's next for Mollie?
That's you.
What's next?
All right. So, well, my assistant posing coach back here is ready to get back to work. She wants to go to.
Like the Christmas tree.
Oh,
Oh.
Lord. Go ahead. Start putting your ornaments on.
I know, I'm doing the same thing tonight. I'm with you. I promised. I've been promising for days. He's like, if you don't do it tonight, I'm like, oh my God.
Mommy come downstairs to decorate with.
Go ahead. Do the first couple. I'm coming.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll stay there. All right. So, pro debut.
Yeah.
Opener. But tomorrow, again, check my email and see if coach sent my workout, and then
It's gonna be in your inbox tonight.
take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
No. We've got some work to put in, Miss Mollie.
I'm ready. I'm game.
Your season opener for the world. So April 2023, Orlando Pro debut.
Oh my God.
No.
Let's freaking go.
I'm ready to get ready.
Anyway, Mollie, thank you so much for being on the show tonight with us.
you.
We appreciate you so much. Like I said, it's been just amazing to be a part of this story.
Amazing.
And for all of you guys listening and watching, these are the things that really should make you think about whether or not you are going all in on your journey. And hopefully all of the things that were said were amazing, but hopefully you just take one and it makes whatever path you're on just a little bit better.
Yes, comment, like, share. Tell Mollie how amazing she
Yes.
is. She is so awesome.
Till next time, guys. Peace out.
Thank you, Mollie. We love you.
Love you more.
Bye.